So good afternoon, my name is David and this is Hegle. I work here at this university and Hegle has been organizing this event since 6 years ago and we have been doing it together since 2011. This year Hegle suggested that I would come on stage and talk with her. Yes, not asking questions but with her, but I decided to just ask questions because this is easy for me. And
well, I was scared and he comes and has a support for me.
No, I won't ask anything special. Actually, I don't like presenting, so there's the feedback again. That's your microphone? I don't know. Okay, so anyway, the topic is about communicating the UX value proposition, and some time ago we sat together and we kind of wrote down some sentences. I'm going to read these two sentences to you, so just bear with me for a while, and then I'll start asking questions from Hegle. Basically, what we want to do is to cover a case study or a set of case studies that Hegle has been dealing with or dealt with in the past, so that we can illustrate some of the concepts and ideas and values that have been discussed here today. So we started with a very interesting presentation this morning by Gilbert, and we moved on to a different kind of discourse and different level of concern with Tavi. And then in the afternoon we went on to Nigel, and he was focusing on very specific issues. And then Raul came and presented us with this challenge of making this thing that is already the best of the world even better. And well, we'll try to kind of bring some. We will try to bring some sense into it before the coffee break, and then we can go and relax. So, what did we put together? We wrote something like this: UX specialists help companies understand their customers' experiences. The outcomes of their work include design recommendations that improve customers' experiences across business systems, products, and services, being them digital or material. They merge multiple disciplines, including engineering, marketing, service design, graphical design, interface design, industrial design. They go beyond giving customers what they say they want and caring for checklist features to also provide for the simplicity and elegance featured in products that are a joy to own, a joy to use. It's interesting that Ilya, although ignoring these sentences, he actually asks a question related with the pleasure and joy of using something, right? So it's kind of something that we have been discussing for a while, and it's among us kind of a hot topic. So let's start with the question then. Would you mind providing us an example of UX at work? An example of UX at work?
Yes, of course. Well, let's say that UX is actually much bigger than just user interface, usability or whatever, just customer relation. So user experience kind of starts maybe in the morning when I wake up and take a coffee and feel like I really need to read some news. Okay. So, but experience from business can be like, let's say that we have some kind of need to go to e-commerce, and we have a customer who actually needs to go to e-commerce. They haven't done it so far. It's not about, a question, can we do a website what sells some goods? And, well, there's so many e-shops out there, and everyone can do it today. Well, not well all the time, but anyway, they can do that. The thing is, or the question is, do we want to really compete with the price? Because most of the e-shops for a customer is like, I can buy something cheaper. That's it. I can buy something cheaper, and maybe I can buy something which I cannot get from a shop, from the real shop, right? So basically, business-wise, going to e-commerce, getting lots of investment there might not be, that good. I have to sell something cheaper. Why the hell should I do that? Why should I invest into that? So basically, my question is, can I do something else? Well, I know the future will be e-commerce. If I'm not going to do that, I'm going to not survive, finally, at some point. So I have to go there, but I don't want to sell something cheaper. So what is out there? What can I do? What should I sell there? Why should anyone pay something extra in my e-shop, maybe for the same goods they can get for cheaper? So these are the real questions. I have to know that. It doesn't matter, is it like blue or green, or it has like 9 product images and red price tags and blue checkout button, basically. Of course, there are studies, but the thing is, we need something more. There has to be someone who answers these questions, these business questions, and we don't know the answers sometimes. And business people don't know the answers. So basically, user experience people actually should answer these questions first, before we start building something.
What do you mean?
So meaning that if we are the people knowledge persons, or we understand people better, we have tools how to research, how to, make something from this research, then user experience designers should be the people who find out when people will, pay more, what kind of goods they want to buy from the shop.
So you are talking about identifying this added value that customers will eventually find in this
Yes, customers
e-shop,
need to have extra value, so they want to go for this specific e-shop, and the more values, but as a company, we have to, add some extra value, some added value.
Okay, so how do you go about identifying this added value? How do you do that?
Well, we have like user experience designers, we have many tools for that. We have different ways for researching. We play games with the people. We found out what they like, what they don't like, what they do in their life and where they feel the pain.
Okay.
Like big lines in the cashiers, in real life shop. So I want to avoid that. So of course, all the e-commerce sites actually relieve that pain, but maybe our customers are a bit different, and maybe we can give something extra. So we have to research. Of course, people don't know what they want, and they don't understand what they need sometimes. Or most of the times they cannot at least explain what they need. So basically, we have to take our own tools, go out there, and find out. And this is, it doesn't matter, is it like coming like e-commerce website? We shouldn't think that we are going to build website. We have to take it a bit bigger. Maybe it's telephone sales somehow, different shape.
Okay.
So basically this has to be this user experience, but it comes from the value, and later on how it was designed and delivered. So basically.
But what you described so far will eventually help you identify specific needs and opportunities of improvement in some process. But before we were discussing pleasure and joy, how does that come into play? How do you provide that? How do you go about also adding that into the process? Not just fulfilling needs or making things more convenient, but actually bringing this joy of life into buying and making people actually think through and commit to your business proposition.
If we speak about pleasure and nice feeling, we get pretty fast into emotions, and e-commerce site might give you some emotion. It might be not so good emotion because maybe my bank card didn't really work, and it's not this website fault, but it's definitely my company's problem because they didn't bought that because of that, and they got this really not nice emotion about that. I couldn't buy that. I wanted and I did all the steps, but I didn't got that. So basically, they might call me, what happened, why this, my card, where, and there is enough money on the card, why it didn't really work. I had to call. And you know, this is about the organization. I mean, how this person in the other side of this phone call actually answers me. Are they like saying like, oh, we're so sorry, we're fixing it right now, and you will get this extra, I don't know, perfume. This is like, okay, I had a problem, but the feeling was really nice. Or is it like someone who had like really rough day and 10 people in a row yelled to this person because something was wrong, and it was totally not this person help desk problem. It was her or his problem, but not the fault. So basically, we have to think about that. Solving this problem maybe means that we have to reorganize our help desk.
Okay, so you are telling me that it's not just about the e-service anymore. You are not just kind of filling in some of the gaps in this kind of rank of needs from your customer. You are providing a little bit more and making the whole experience enjoyable as a whole. So you are also, you're telling me that UX specialists, they should also change organizations or organizational culture? They should also kind of have a hand there?
I'm totally saying that. I don't say that user experience specialists are like experts in every field. It's impossible. It has to be co-work. You cannot do it alone. Various organizations, there's so many different people, and of course there's so many different user experience people, and they have to specialize anyway. There's business side, organizational behavior, lots of different things, even like room design or environment design, and maybe how these rules were written down, or was it a picture for everyone to understand the rule. So basically, yes, we have to change the organization, otherwise we cannot really provide entire user experience or people experience or customer experience. We have to change it.
Okay, so that's kind of a big challenge, right? We heard earlier today, I'm just going to be mean, and I know that we didn't plan for this, but I cannot resist asking this question. We heard this morning Gilbert saying that we design for slices of life, but in this case you are telling me the opposite, or you're just saying that the smallest slice that you can design for in this kind of setting is actually the entire setting. You cannot just go for e-service. You should if you actually want to provide good user experience, then you should not just target the digital part of the business, but also the cultural organization and the way things are organized in the physical eventually store as well, so that everything combined is kind of coherent. And this would be the minimal slice then of life, using Gilbert's words.
Well, it's just a no answer. I mean, like, I'm not saying it depends on case. I'm saying that every process takes time. So that means we have to have bigger plan, but at the same time, we cannot work on everything. Okay. So basically, organizations are like improving something, go to next bottleneck, improves that, and everything is like changing. Of course, sometimes we do bigger changes, and that means that we have to train people and do much more, of course. But every change is kind of, it's a cost, like not just money. It's emotional cost for people. Lots of people want to leave because they don't like changes. That might be a cost still too. So someone extra has to work with these people. Someone has to make someone believe that this is necessary, and so on and so on. So basically, every change starts with small things, and we cannot really take like whole process and let's reorganize everything at that. So it's continuous work, of course, but we have to have a bigger plan.
Okay. So although you on one hand, you're telling me that we should focus and be specialized and target specific challenges. You are at the same time telling me that if you are really targeting good UX, good user experience, then you should also keep in mind this bird's eye view on the entire process, so that these, I'm again using Gilbert's words, these connections, then they happen and they work, so that things appear as being coherent, and the service being rendered is actually of adequate quality and provides this awesome experience. That's interesting. Okay, but if this is the case then, and if I would like to be one of these, I'm just using this fancy term, but it's not that I subscribe to it, but if I would like to be this UX architect, the one that actually oversees everything, what would be my skill set then? What kind of profile should I have? Yeah, if you would hire one, what kind of person would you be looking for? Because you do hire these kind of people, so.
Yeah, well, this is a tricky question, and there's lots of different sides of UX designer. I mean, of course, one set is what they have to do at a certain time or a certain project, but the other side is, you know, every person is different, and of course, user experience designers are different. They value different things. They're good at different things. Some people really have this really nice visual way of thinking, and they can actually, you know, explain something visually very good. But some people are really good with all this statistical data, and they like numbers. They like to dig and so on. But you know.
But if you are looking at somebody and you just imagine yourself selecting somebody to work on your team that would play this kind of role in similar projects, this overseer kind of thing, well, person that connects and makes the connections. What's the core set of values that you would like to see in this person, apart from the very pragmatic skill, statistical skills, or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they have to have experience about. For example, about changes in the organizations, maybe they are not at the beginning trained user experience specialists, maybe this is their second education or whatever. So basically, I'm looking for experiences and understanding how organizations work, and or maybe what customer relations should look like. This is at least one side, or at least some amount of understanding, so that this person can co-work with the business people.
Okay.
So they don't have to know everything by themselves, because you know, we are not superhumans. We are just us, and you know, like me, I'm user experience designer, and I'm really bad at drawing. So you know, you cannot have all the skill sets, but I like games. Okay. I mean, like I go, you know, home in the evening, and I secretly go and play. So that doesn't mean that I have to be user experience designer in the game industry.
I'm having trouble understanding you. So but this is just me. I'm asking you, what features are you looking for in people that come to be, let's say, interviewed by you, so that eventually you'll end up hiring them? And of course, I understand that you have lots of background information, you've got lots of experience, and there are things that maybe you cannot quantify or pinpoint, and that's why I'm probably just getting half of the message. So let me rephrase the question. If I would come up to you and say, okay, I really like your company, and one day I would like to be a UX specialist in your company, what kind of training do you recommend me to get? Where should I study? What program should I study? Or what courses should I do? And
this, you know, understanding organizations is like one side. I mean, what every user experience designer has to know are different approaches, different methods, different tools, how to use them, what is value of these tools. And they have to understand these basics of all these tools and ways. And so if they get together, like business problem, understanding of the business and knowledge of the tools, then they can at least select appropriate tools, and they are not going to by the book say that we have to do 3 months of research because the book said we have to do that and we have to do it this way.
That might be a good example of knowing enough to be dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Some people do know enough to be dangerous, right?
Absolutely.
And they are really dangerous. Okay, so it's a combined skill set then.
Yes, it has to be combined, and it has to be also negotiable. I mean, like, you cannot really say that we have to do it all.
Okay.
Sometimes, business won't pay for us sometimes that much what it costs to do everything.
That would be my next question, actually. You touched the cost thing. So from your description, I get this feeling that as this is so multifaceted and people need to have such a rich skill set, then this is probably very expensive, right? So how expensive is UX as a function? How do you position this when you go and talk with somebody and say, I want to improve your blah, or I want to contribute to this? So,
yeah, well, it depends.
How expensive is it? It looks really expensive.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but of course, hourly prices are, better person you are, more you know, the hourly prices are like more expensive. But the other hand, if we understand that if we do, for example, only user testing, and this is enough for the business, I mean, for this project, this is enough, and we can explain everything with that, and then you will have to plan what comes out from the user testing. Then it doesn't have to be expensive. It might be like 2,000 euros and that's it for user experience per person. Business can take from there, and you don't have to hire extra, expensive consultants.
But how do you explain this investment? I mean, if somebody asks you, then what do I get in return? How do you reason about it without going into fake numbers and beliefs and then that you cannot actually prove? What are your arguments? What's the common ground that you can eventually build normally, typically, with your customers? Where do you kind of lay your foundations to discuss this?
Actually, the first answer is what is the cost of the risk? Okay. So basically, less you do about the risk, more likely you will have the problem. So what is the cost of the risk first, and the other is what is the value of success, basically. So it depends on the company. I cannot really give a price tag. Of course, I can give a price tag like for 10 hours work. Everyone can do that, but this is impossible for businesses to just understand what will I get from these 10 hours.
I'm pretty sure you cannot provide a number to the people sitting on the other side of the table, but can you at least provide them something that they can then work on to get their own numbers and make up their minds?
Yeah, of course.
And if so, what do you provide? Well, what are the arguments that you put on the table that they can take and play with? Well,
there are lots of key performance indicators, and we can, depends on a project, depends on a problem. We have to select some, and of course we have to agree that this is our purpose to make these indicators better, for example. Well, for business people, this has clear value already, and we can tell that this probably takes that many hours. We have 1 minute. Wow.
1 minute. Oh, oops. Sorry.
So that probably takes that many hours, and then this is the first set, and this probably improves it. Okay. Sometimes we don't know how much it will improve,
But you're talking about this process, and I need to ask this question, then I can stop. You're talking about this process as being, I don't know, from your answers so far, I kind of get this idea that most of your personal experiences as a UX specialist have been positive. Aren't there any kind of stories of horror? Are there any pitfalls that maybe you have been through them and you would like to just briefly share with them and share them with us and tell us this might happen and you should be prepared for this, and sometimes plan B is to actually kind of give up your life for a while? And
oh yeah, there are many, especially when we speak about design approach and design thinking, and let's start like just do something and work on it, well, you won't probably build a space shuttle with agile methodologies. I mean, you only can launch once. So basically, that means for some organizations, some projects, you only can launch once. If it's out there, it's out there. That's the work. So basically, you work with risk management. And then, it depends really a lot on these people, too. It depends on communication, everything, and and the trust and the politics. I mean, politics is, I think, top one reason why some of the projects really fail.
Politics?
Politics, yeah.
Okay.
So people don't want to agree.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because you did something to my, I don't know, grandmother or whatever. And
this kind of, okay.
So that means that you have to understand what is out there, what is behind this decision, and you will make something to make this person to believe into something, or a trick, or you blackmail, or whatever you do.
So the process heavily relies on communication and empathy.
Exactly.
And shared beliefs and
negotiation.
And negotiation.
So basically, I know that when I'm upset, nobody believes me ever. So basically, I'm this kind of person who everyone will hate who is getting upset.
You were upset this morning, I believed you.
Yes. So even when I'm not upset, but still, if I try to calm down or suppress it, nobody still believes it because everyone sees that I kind of hate them or something like that. Okay. So this is not my strong point, and that means that in negotiations, either I have to be extremely happy about something, or I have to avoid that and send someone else. So basically, sometimes it's better, for example, to send my business partner on that to some negotiation, because maybe he's just a male, and sometimes it works better.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, we have to understand people, and a lot of it comes from experiences. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Any final thoughts for this audience?
Well, it doesn't really, it's not that, impossible to do how it came out, I think. It just, everyone can actually do it. I don't know, but tell me later. Everyone can do methods, they can use tools, they can take approaches, and they can learn them. So basically, if you want to do something better, I don't know, start user testing, and this is already much better than doing nothing and creating this big project and try to start something. You don't have to be user experience specialist to do user testing. You just have to care, basically, and don't provide answers. So basically, you can do it, but at least if you do that, you have to understand why you're doing it, why it's important for your business, and then you can actually get approved from the managers because they understand this language.
So you are basically saying that if you want to be a good UX specialist, avoid being self-centric.
Yes.
Okay.
Self-centric design is the worst one, I guess.
Okay.
But of course, if you're an artist, then it's maybe okay to do that. But this is not user-centered design. This is self-centered design.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's give the round to Aive.
And it's coffee break time. Okay. And do we want to take a quick question also from audience? Does anybody have pressing questions, or we direct you to the table of Trinidad, which is outside, where I can ask the questions directly?
There is. Hopefully there's also some people behind that. Right now they are here, but later on during the coffee break they go.
Yeah. Okay, then once more thanks and small presents to both of you.